Well, good evening, YouTubers, fellow reloaders, collectors, hobbyists, antiquers, restorers, stuff in between, tea fans. Warning, tonight's video slash unboxing has absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with reloading. So for many of you, you may want to just hit the stop button or close this video, because you may not find it interesting. But for those of you who take interest in some of my other eclectic hobbies, this is probably one of the most eclectic. I don't think I've ever shared it with you all. And it goes back a few years. So this just came, and this would be the newest entry of something I started collecting. Let's see, COVID's been 2 years, maybe 5+ years ago, I'm going to say. And the story behind this is I found this in Texas. And originally they were like, yeah, we don't do business with Californians. Like, what? So apparently they've been ripped off before, credit card reversals and such. So had to do some finagling and different types of payment, check versus credit, paying for the shipping label. They're very polite people to work with, but they're not fans of those of us on the West Coast. So this took about 2 months to finally transact. But the story behind this, and this thing of collection that I happen to have too many of that bothers my family, is I'm trying to draw this out as long as possible, hoping that you'll be able to see. Okay, so that's, I'm trying to see, make sure there's no identifying information on here, because that's the way I roll. So the original box is in this outer shell. So we'll call this a double unboxing. And I found, because of this type of item that I like to collect, it's an the item, the original stuff that I collect would be classified as antique. This is not an antique. This is a modern version of the antique. And the cool factor behind this is the company that 100 and long ass time ago, 100 years ago, made 170 years ago, made this thing that I've been collecting in one form. Try not to draw blood. That I've been collecting in one form or fashion of another, slash restoring, slash enjoying, is, drum roll please, dun, 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 dun. You can't see it too clearly. It is a Singer. I probably should have opened it the other way around, so let me put my knives away. I'll turn this around so you can see it better. Half a dozen of one, six of another. Didn't know where the entry point was going to be for this, so we will flip this around. It's quite heavy, actually. Oh, It is the Singer 170th anniversary of the non-electric, a manual sewing machine. So I'll be back in a second. Let me put this on the bench, get rid of this big box. One moment, please. A few moments later. All right, so I started years ago, 5, 6, 7. I found locally what's called a treadle. And what I'll probably have to do is weave some of those videos into this one so that it makes sense. And the treadle is the cabinet version of this, where your feet work what's called a treadle, which has a leather rope that turns this wheel. So in effect, it creates what is today an electric sewing machine. but it was foot powered, pedal powered to operate the needle. And this is the 170th anniversary reproduction of that particular sewing machine that would be mounted into the cabinet and the treadle. So I've got a few treadles. I've got older versions of this that I have in different stages of restoration. And a number of years ago, I picked up the 160th version of this, and I'll show that as well, because this was true to the original. The 160th version was an homage, an electric version that paid homage, tribute to this original version, but only a modern version of this with electronics and such. Very cool all by itself. And those are going for ridiculous prices today on auction houses. So the story behind this was, I didn't even know. So I got out of the sewing machine collecting restoration space. That's why you've never seen it on my videos. I like that this even says Singer. So, and I collected accessories like the oil bottles and different things. So I got out of it so you wouldn't see this. And I didn't even know this machine existed up until some point last year. And once I found out this machine existed, I was like, oh, I need to get one of those. And I start looking around, and lo and behold, so if you go out to Singer's website, you can see this. Comes in black and red. The one in here should be black. We'll find out shortly. The machine sold out, and you can't buy it directly from Singer any longer. So you have two choices. Either somebody has new old stock, which is what this is, or somebody's charging a fortune for a used version. See, look at this. I love the new old stock. I don't know how I'm going to get this out easily. Well, in any case, the auction houses want a small fortune for this, again, because it's no longer available. Anytime something's no longer available, price just jumps instantly. And that's quite painful to the wallet. So, this looks like it's seen better days with some of this. So I'm not sure what the best way to open this is going to be. So let's take this damage in. I don't know if we've got damage inside here. Wouldn't be surprised. Again, it's brand new, but it traveled a distance with our friendly shippers, who can sometimes not be so friendly to shipments. And I'm not sure if that blue tape is. Try not to cut into that. So I looked long and hard. Gave up a couple times because I couldn't find it, and I wasn't going to pay the ridiculous 3x price that the scalpers were looking for. Okay, so that is broken. I don't know if this will play nice. So I found a shop, like I said, I found a shop that had one, almost by accident, because again, I had kind of given up on trying to find it, and when I did find it, originally they told me pound sand because we don't like dealing with folks from your state because they were too dishonest at some point. So I had to get creative with my payment model so that they were happy and were made whole. And this is what we're now. Let's see what we see. So that's going to have to get taped back up to work. All right, so we have a box of goodies from Singer. The Plasto can. Oh wow, there's actually oil in here. Lubricating oil, some bobbins, some tools. That's funny because I have some very old version. In fact, you know what? Let me go get a very old version of this. Be right back. And we're back. So this would be the, let's call this 23. So this would be 2021-ish maybe. I don't see a date on here. But this used to be these metal cans, and you can see the difference. And they're still full. 30 cents versus 39 cents. Made in the USA. I don't see dates anywhere. Obviously, this is older because this is roughly 9 cents. So 25%-ish more expensive. So this one would be newer than this one. But in any case, so this is called sewing machine oil, and this is called lubricating oil. But kind of cool to see, you know, just like with firearm cleaning solvents, the old glass bottle. I love smelling this stuff. This is like smelling glue. It's awesome. Not that I smell glue, sniff glue, whatever. All right, so enough about. Okay, so that's seen better days. That's actually cracked / damaged / whatever, because it's put inside here on something that is heavy. Okay, this is the wheel. This is the crank. Oh, this is very nicely sealed. This is the crank. That's what turns the wheel. I've got an old version of this where I was in an antique store and they wanted a fortune because the sewing machine included the wheel. And they didn't want to. I offered them what I thought was a decent price, and they told me to pound sand, so I didn't buy it. And then the week they were going out of business, I got it for a fraction. It actually says Singer, but it bolts on and locks into the large chrome wheel. And this would come out, and hopefully, looks like we've got a bend here that needs to be adjusted. This would be maybe one of the complaints that folks had about this particular machine. The quality of the machine. Ooh. Okay, so the wheel. There is the wheel. Looks like, I don't know if it's supposed to be a part or not. All right, what are we sticking on? It looks like, I don't know if that's rust from where this was. It was in a more humid environment, that's for sure. Texas. And I don't know if that's a hole or by design. Maybe a creature. Alright, so I'm going to say we're going to cut this open right about here. So I'd probably venture as much to say that some of the ones I've restored look better than this one does brand new. Okay, so it looks like that was just paper to protect the mechanisms. But it looks, yeah, it needs a, well, it's got a lot of, I don't know what the right term is, a lot of gunk on it. Like if it was a gun, I'd call it cosmoline. And the fact that it's new old stock from years ago, it's probably seen better days, meaning when it came out of the factory. So this looks like it would need to be, maybe it's an oil, a good cleaning. But again, you know, it's very cool, and it should be the same footprint that I can mount into. So I have an old treadle that, so turning the wheel operates, and the bobbin goes in here. A little bit different than the ones I've had in the past. Actually, it looks like the bobbin is vertical instead of horizontal, so slightly different than ones I've had in the past. And while we're at it, we might as well open this. And maybe we can open it so that it opens. And obviously I am not looking at the instructions. All right, so based on my knowledge of the previous machines, this will lock onto here. This will lock into the two. You can't see what I'm doing, or maybe you can. This will, these two pieces will lock into there. And then this will screw in. So what I've heard about these is the quality wasn't so great, the machine quality, as compared to the original machines. All right, so what we're going to do is tilt this forward. We'll have gravity help us out a little bit. So I've heard that these were not as nice as the original machine, so I'll call it a Chinesium copy. Okay. So now we have the wheel that's on, and for folks who didn't own a treadle version, you basically sewed by doing the wheel. And for a small job, oil the parts before you start. So I will never use this, to be clear. Use it in the sense of I will never sew. This is a display kind of thing to pay homage again to the original. So there's no reason to oil anything, but I will clean it and try and get it looking a lot nicer than it currently looks. It looks like if it was a gun, it looks like it's been shot, not cleaned, and put away. So this is the gist of it, and the way this mounts is this bolt right here comes out, if you can see what I'm doing. Yes, you can. This bolt comes out. This long bolt comes out. This locks in. Let's see, where are we at? You know what? I can't remember if this goes... Yeah, it goes like this. Unfortunately, there's a whole lot of black here, and my eyes can't quite make it out. There we go. All right, so that's hand tight, and this would then slip into one of the spokes like that. So it slips out if you want to disengage and just use it by hand, and if you wanted to use the crank, it would engage, and hopefully this is where all the bobbins go and all that stuff. Now if I did my stuff correctly, I would lock this in, but since this piece is a little bent, we're not going to do that right now. I might have to put that in the vise and figure out what I'm going to do to fix that. But you would insert that here, which again won't fit because it's damaged, so it needs a little fine tuning, and that would lock in, and then you would start, yeah, without so you can see you can hear it cranking. Kind of cool. I think it's cool. You guys might think, oh, WTF, that's just silly, but I think it's kind of cool. So an old Singer, a new old Singer that is really, really dirty. And you know what? I don't know what will clean that off. I don't know if that is good for some M-Pro. Let me do a little test. Do a little test. I love M-Pro 7. Now the real test, okay, so I didn't pull any paint off. The real test will be what does it look like underneath? Yeah, that's not bad. It's yeah, I don't know. It's better, but there's still obviously some. Yeah, that's better. So we might be doing a couple rounds of cleaning. Oh, it looks really good, actually, as compared. So you can tell that the surface, these scratches are not from me. They're all over the place. But at least that's black as opposed to hazy black. So we will be doing some cleaning and some fitting. And as I've said, what I'll probably do is work in the original. I don't know how long this video is going to be, so maybe this will be part one, and then I'll backtrack to what got me into this line of interesting old sewing machine. I just find it beyond amazing that 170 years ago, this idea was made, in a machine looking similar to this was made. You have all your stitching. Oh, this is very cool. Very, very cool. So I don't, again, this is not for working sake. It's kind of a cool factor. Old, brand new old from a gazillion years ago. So the old stuff I think is actually in better condition than this stuff, and I'll show you potentially some of the restoration work that I did on some of the old machines. So enough babbling, more to come later. All right, a little bonus footage. For those of you who know me, I can't let stuff go. So I took this off, and again, quality wise, you'll see the paint leaves a lot to be desired of. Even if you clean it, it's there's a degree of Chinesium here. So we're going to check the box because I have no idea where it's made. I think I do, though, but we'll confirm that. In any case, when this is mounted, this wheel can lock in so that it's easy to turn, because when it's not locked in, it's not easy to turn. So you need it in there to get a rhythm, and the design is a captured mechanism. I'm not going to say bolt. I was worried about trying to twist this in here with this cast, so I broke out the vise. Every bench needs a vise, and you know, when you have this mounted, which I will remount for the sake of completeness, every bench needs a mount. Every bench needs a vise. Every bench needs a mount. That's true too. But I will do one final check to see that my thingy worked. And I don't want to tighten this beyond hand tight for right now. So again, we will, nothing's turning until you lock it into a spoke. Interesting design. Once you lock it into a spoke, and so you can see how easy it turns here, and then you can see how easy the needle operates. Smooth too. For something, you know, what I'm thinking is a knockoff. The original obviously was made in the United States 170 years ago, but this one is made in, oh wow, I'm quite surprised. I don't know if you can see that. Made in India. I kind of like that. Kind of liking that. So it's Indianesium instead of Chinesium. But again, the cool factor for something that modern version of an old antique. And maybe I'll do a video of my combined older versions so you can get a taste of how eclectic and weird I am. Later.